Join us now for Let's Just Talk with Kathryn Raaker.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of Let's Just Talk, and we are on location today at Sandy's Health and Wellness in Westchester, Ohio, with the owner, Christine Begley. Nice to meet you, Christine.
Nice to meet you.
Gorgeous store. I love it. And you have seminars and you have health and wellness products. Can you tell us how long you've been here and a little bit about your store?
Yes, so the store's been here for 33 years. We still get new people every day that live in Westchester right down the street and say, I've never seen the store before. And I purchased the store almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
I was a longtime customer of Sandy. And my degree's in psychology, but I've always studied this since I've been a vegetarian since I was 9. I've always just been fascinated with how the body works and why it does what it does.
So tell me, I had a question the other day from somebody that her daughter's a vegetarian. She started being a vegetarian at 17, and the grandparents are worried about her being a vegetarian and want her to eat more meat, and she said, but I'm a vegetarian. So tell people how healthy it is to be a vegetarian. Would you mind?
Not at all. So I think we're constantly learning more and more about the body. We don't know everything as of today still. So one thing I've just recently, within the last couple of years, found out about, which makes complete sense, is your blood type plays a huge role in whether or not being a vegetarian is good for you, and it might not be. Like type O bloods, for instance, do really well with having sporadic red meat.
Right. What about an AB?
AB, vegetarian diet you would thrive on. I think AB, you could do a mixture of everything.
Everything?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like I found out I'm a type O, and I've been a vegetarian since I was 9.
Wow.
So I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all for any of us that this is the best diet or this is the best way of eating. It's more getting to know your genetics and your blood type. And eat right for your blood type. I've read and practiced that for many years. I love the author. And we have different nutritionists and health food and all different types of things. And we also have a cooking show that's a healthy cooking show. So I've done a lot of things with vegetarians over the last few years and learned a lot from vegetarians. The only thing I'm not really crazy about is the cheese. Vegetarian cheese.
Vegetarian cheese.
I don't think we can call it cheese.
I wouldn't call it cheese. It just has a very weird taste to it.
Yeah.
But most of the things in the vegetarian diet are very appetizing. It's learning how to cook or learning how to prepare it, right?
That's the easiest way, is get your own system down, do your research and find out and prepare.
Right. Prepare for it.
Yeah,
so
because with all the fresh vegetables and fruit, you're putting in a little bit of extra time of like cleaning it all and getting it all prepared. So yeah, the easier you make it on yourself, like go to the grocery, bring it home, clean everything and put it in bins.
We've had a very, very famous, actually raw chef on our shows from California, Chef Brian O. And I was really shocked on raw food, what it tasted like in comparison. And it's actually very tasty. So tell me, are your children, you have children, you're married and you have children, are they vegetarians as well?
One of them is. I didn't purposely raise them that way.
Right.
My husband eats meat, so
right.
They just both, I don't know if it's just from watching me over the years, but
right.
One will eat chicken here and there, but neither have actually ever had red meat.
Right.
And it wasn't my choice. Like
right. And I have a husband that actually can't have red meat. He'll have other things besides that. And so, because he has gout, and red meat actually causes, he has a lot of uric acid in it, so it makes it hard on him.
Right.
So we go the opposite way with him. And, you really don't miss it that much.
Right.
And it makes him healthier.
And I think that's the biggest thing is like our bodies are extremely intelligent. And
right.
Listen to your body. If your body's telling you this
right.
isn't working for me, then
right.
I would suggest following and listening to the
and
body.
there's so many people that have stomach problems today, and that the other thing that might happen is that if they don't eat organic meat, they're eating meat that has a lot of antibiotics in it, and it causes them to be not able to take antibiotics if they wanted to.
And
correct?
Yes, and it just messes with our hormones. There's so much that could be taken away even from this store if we
Right.
all got our food
Right.
right. Carbs and sugar would be one of the biggest things
Right.
over meat and over vegetables. I think that's the biggest thing I want to help people understand is we are not designed to consume sugar and carbs. I mean, our body, I can't remember the exact amount that our bodies are designed to take in every day, and we are thousands of times over
Right.
that for sugar.
And shouldn't it be so many carbs per day that you could have? There's no carb diets, happening now where there's a lower carb count that you can do. I think it's 50 carbs a day is recommended. Am I correct?
Correct. Yeah, with paleo and
They
ketogenic.
wouldn't necessarily be carbs from like sugary things, but it would be carbs from fruits and vegetables.
Correct.
Am I right? And for some people, that diet works really well. I've had kind of a hard time with it personally, but I could do it. I know people that have lost weight like 50 or 60 pounds being on that. But I think you have to find a healthy platform for yourself. Am I right?
Correct. And diets like that seem so daunting. And so, like the ketogenic diet, for instance, that is the longest studied diet in human history. We have over 100 years of research on the ketogenic diet. And a simple way of viewing it is it would be 7 fats to 2 proteins to 1 carb, if any. And so the neurological benefits of eating ketogenic are proven over and over. And they're just now finding out all the other things that the ketogenic diet does for the body.
Let's talk about what that diet would consist of. Like just a regular day, say for instance.
So
Breakfast.
I mean, back to the meat thing. It's the ketogenic or the keto eaters love their meat. Bacon would be for breakfast.
Right.
Ideally the clean organic farmer, local farm.
Right. I grew up before all that stuff was put into the food.
Right.
I
Yeah, and
was
that's
lucky.
So you've added years to your life just from
right.
childhood. So bacon, eggs are on the menu, cheese is on the menu.
Right.
So it's not really, it's high fat. Ideally
Right.
when you get your good fats like avocado and
Right. And we do a lot of avocado. We do a lot of almond nuts.
yeah.
And almond milk. I'm lactose intolerant, so. And I'm wondering, a lot of people are saying go gluten free. How do you feel about that?
So my oldest son is on the autism spectrum, so we've lived gluten, casein, soy free for
a long
time. But as I continue to study, the gluten free typically comes with a lot of sugar
That's
and carbs.
the problem.
And now the more I study, the more I'm like, the body's ability to heal itself comes from the fat. And I think we really have to, it takes effort to break our minds of what we've been told for our whole lives about how bad fat is for us, and that's just not true. It actually lowers cholesterol, and the reason for high cholesterol is when it potentially, and what I'm starting to understand from the research, is that it's too many grains. So the grains kind of like agitate our arteries and cause nicks, and then our body sends cholesterol to smooth it over.
Right.
So the reason that there's cholesterol there, it's not like we just want to take a drug and make that number lower. We want to
Right.
understand why it's happening, and I'm starting to believe that grains, all of them, might be the root cause of.
Well, and it's funny because if you've had diverticulitis, or you've had, I can't eat that many grains or seeds, because when you have diverticulitis, it gets into the, into the system, and it's really difficult to deal with it and to digest it.
Right.
And I also have the other thing is I lost my gallbladder when I was really young, so I cannot digest garlic that everybody pushes like crazy, right? And I live garlic free, and actually food tastes great. You know what I mean?
It's like
it's a
you
little
can adjust.
challenging, right?
You can adjust after a certain amount of time just with anything.
That's
it's
right.
Just like, oh,
you
I
just
don't do
make
that
it up
anymore.
and you do different herbs and stuff like that.
Right.
Your store is just amazing. I love all the supplements that you have here. I recognize quite a few actually because I work with a lot of naturopathic people that are constantly looking for product that can make their health their life healthier. So, and I see you have some of the most wonderful books as well. And we had a lot of nutritionists on our shows that are just absolutely. And do you have them come and do talks here?
We have people from all walks, like spiritual healing, reflexology. We have actual naturopathic doctors have been here to do lectures on specific topics, candida, or like you were saying with digestion. Just being in a space like the store, I would consider in our community digestion issues are epidemic, thyroid issues are epidemic. So we try and gather the right people and to do talks based on what our customer base needs. And
I'm learning that, because of the issues I've had in the past, that actually having something to take care of your gut, excuse the expression, to be able to do digestion easier because I was seeing swelling in my stomach, so I went to my doctor, and he said, let's do a CAT scan and see what's going on. And actually, it wasn't anything really bad, but it was collection and I need to get rid of those toxins, and I need to get rid of that out of my system so that swelling will not happen again. So, it's good to find out as much as you can before you take it, correct? And we want to say, where can people find out more about you?
Where can people find out more about us? Well, our website is a work in progress, so not too much information about. We have some of the products that we carry on there, and but Facebook is probably the best way. Giving us a call, stopping in. Yeah. Facebook's probably our best.
You're on Facebook.
Best bet.
Okay. And we want to thank you for allowing us to come today and to learn all about your business and your store. And we wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you for being here.
And thank you. And we'll be right back after these important messages on Kathryn Raaker's Let's Just Talk. We're back on Let's Just Talk, and our next guest, who is actually one of our sponsors, and my reflexologist, my neurointegration gal, whatever, she keeps me straight. And that is Eileen Darden. And Eileen has been in reflexology how many years now?
Since I've been doing reflexology since 1992, Kathryn.
Wow, that's a long time.
That's a long time.
And Eileen has a private place.
Yes.
And a private place is reflexology and also neurointegration.
That's
and right. Since Eileen introduced me to both, I had reflexology before, but nothing like what you do.
Thank you, Kathryn.
You've really helped me with staying well and understanding what alternative medicine can do for the body and the brain, right?
That's correct.
Now, we are at Sandy's Health and Wellness today.
Health and Wellness.
In Westchester, Ohio, correct?
That's correct.
And you're going to be giving a talk on what, Eileen?
Yes. Sandy has been so gracious as to allow me to talk about the brain and how it's involved in everything that we do, and being associated with Dr. Daniel Amen's clinic to be able to talk about the brain, what it looks like on a SPECT scan, and how it can help us function better.
And Dr. Amen is actually the person that came up with would we call it a process? What would we call?
Well, he actually is a psychologist and has been a psychologist for about 30 years. He actually developed the SPECT scan to be able to look at the brain because he felt that the brain was the only organ that we never looked at. We have all kinds of imaging to look at, our muscles, our bones, a sonogram, anything else but the brain. So he developed the SPECT scan to be able to look at the brain on behavior and also illness, also anything where the brain is overactive or underactive.
And one of the things that amazed me, you've told me some patients or clients will come to you and say, I'm not quite sure if this is all smoke and mirrors. But
correct.
what I've experienced is not smoke and mirrors at all. It's actually changed my life, how I react to people, because I live under a lot of stress. And I have sent other patients to you that absolutely love and want to keep on coming back for more, because it's really helping them to be active in their daily life.
That's right, because we are all designed, well, our bodies are designed to heal itself. With the work that I do and the support of Dr. Amen's clinic, we can actually look at your brain and rewire it or help your thoughts be managed.
And that's what the most important thing is, because it could be PTSD, it could be unusual stress, dealing with stress, which today is a major factor
That's correct.
in a lot of people using other substances to help calm their brain, which they shouldn't be using, right?
Right, and we live in a society that causes us to be in reaction all the time, mainly because we're busy, we don't take time for ourselves. In the Western culture, we don't, in a lot of other cultures, people take an hour for a siesta to rest their minds
Right.
and their bodies. But Westerners have a tendency to overwork themselves, which causes the body to be inflamed, and so we have to develop other mechanisms to cope. And this is a mechanism to be able to help calm that down.
Does our body store toxins and other things that would cause the problems that I have sometimes, right?
That's correct. I mean, our brain is involved in everything we do. So, for instance, if you don't get enough sleep, sleep is very important. If you don't get enough sleep, it stores up all of the toxicity from the day, and those go into your body as a chemical. And that's how every organ reacts.
And so you have a plan for people when they come to see you. You customize your work, correct?
That's correct. So I combine my reflexology with neurointegration depending on what's going on with the subject or the client or the person. And how I do that is to be able to talk to them, find out what their issues are, listen to them very carefully, and combine Eastern medicine with Western medicine. And that's neurointegration with reflexology.
Well, let me ask you, you have a website right now or a Facebook?
I have a Facebook.
Okay, and tell me about how to get to your Facebook and what can we learn?
It's just a private place, and you go on there, and I talk a little bit. Every day I have a good quote to go on. I'll try to encourage people to take care of themselves. Come to places like Sandy's that has all of the ability to give you everything that you need as far as supplements and education. And so we combine all of that together.
Well, you know, I love her. I love her store. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, everything that you've talked to me about, you need this, 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 and this, I can find. And I just actually had a little problem. I had never had magnesium, liquid magnesium, and it went down really easy. And I got that instant potassium out of a banana,
That's
right?
right, that's right.
So what causes sometimes this type of cramping in your system?
Well, it's just your body telling you you're lacking that mineral.
Okay.
You know, every day we go about asking our body to do all of the things that we want it to do. Drive the car, take care of the kids, drive down the driveway, go pick up mom, go pick up dad. But we don't replenish anything. So the body's saying to you when you get those cramps, I need magnesium. Can you give it to me, please?
Yeah, and you'd be surprised. You know, I don't think I'm ever taking magnesium pills again. I'm drinking it because I'll tell you what, it goes into your body. It's so fast, I can't believe it. It's like a banana. Or putting something underneath your tongue and letting it absorb into your system. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's called just listening to your body. It will
Right.
tell you what's needed.
Right.
And
So,
when we pay attention, we get better results.
right, I'm amazed at what I'm learning. You know, you never stop learning in life. And so many things that are coming out today that are, you know, I grew up during a period of time where we grew organics. I mean, we never used pesticides on our food or our crops or anything back then. This is years ago. And then we started putting all this stuff just to make more production. And we're starting slowly killing ourselves with the stuff that we put on, the pesticides and everything that we put on our, our agriculture. So, and antibiotics that we feed our cattle or that we ingest. So no wonder our bodies are so messed up in some respects, right?
Well, I think that we've taken the short way out of being able to get everything quickly.
Right.
We are always in motion. We're always trying to find the quickest way to make things happen for our bodies, and sometimes we just need to slow down.
Right. And when I come to see you, I slow down.
Good. That's what I need.
That's what you need.
That's what I want you to do.
That's the reason why I like reflexology, neurointegration, and massage therapy.
Well, and when you have places like Sandy's and my place, my part of the world, you're able to come outside of the busy world and be sort of put in a space that will allow you to heal. And that's, in biblical days, people lived 200 or 300 years.
Yeah, we're
lucky if we live 40.
That's true.
So it's because we want everything fast. So when you live a fast life, you have a fast death.
Here's what we do. What do we do with that piece that's in our hand? Did you know there was a big show about that a couple weeks ago? It said, put them down, which I've been saying for a long time.
Yes.
We have to smell the flowers. We need to go outside. We need to take a walk, do the right things for our body, eat right.
Yes.
And that's going to change. If you can daydream, that's excellent.
Yes.
Because you're putting yourself out of the busy world that we're in. We put ourselves there, and we have to learn how to take ourselves away so that we can have that resting pattern.
Well, unfortunately, we have people along the way that still believe in the old ways, such as myself, such as Sandy, that can bring you into back to where you need to be, just as a reminder.
Right. And we need to break so that we can listen to your seminar series, and the other gal's name is what?
Therese.
We're going to hear both of you talk about how we can change our lives. I want to thank you for doing this interview with us today and meeting us here and curing me. That helped a lot. Thank you very much. And Sandy.
On set.
Yeah, right? On set, right. So we'll be right back after these messages. Don't forget to go to our private place. And what's that phone number, my dear?
937-681-0184.
And we have Sandy's number too?
513-779-3600.
513-779-3600. So give her a call. And
Dr. Amen's book, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life.
Right.
Give me a call and we can give you a copy.
That would be great. That would be excellent. So we're going to take that short break now, and we'll be right back on Let's Just Talk.
Hello, everyone. I'm Therese Altemeier. My healing journey began at the age of 3 when my father and I survived a propane hot water tank explosion. We were taken to a local hospital where they could treat my father, but not me. I was taken to a second, and then finally the third being in Cincinnati, the Shriners Hospital, where with the help of 3 resuscitations and 18 years of reconstructive surgeries, I can be with you today. I also became a nurse, and it was within my nursing career that my PTSD came to light, and hence all the research on the brain and nervous system. Okay, so we're going to get started. For this seminar, there's so much in the brain. We're only going to look at 5 sections, and everything I talk about will be in your book. So if you need more in-depth book on by Dr. Daniel Amen, it's Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. And it really did for me. So, okay, first thing, even William Shakespeare, he knew that the brain was the soul's fragile dwelling place. So that seems to be, back then he knew how important the brain was. So the brain is a multifaceted, power-packed organ that plays an essential role in our being. Everything begins and ends in your brain. How well you physically feel to how well you socialize all greatly depends upon the functioning of your brain. So some fun facts about your brain. It is one of the most delicate organs of the body. It weighs in at about 3 pounds. It's 75 to 80% water. It has over 100 billion neurons, and they're still counting. There's more out there. Your brain physically stopped growing around the age of 18. It's capable of having more ideas than the number of atoms in the known universe. Your brain sections love teamwork. It's never isolated. They all work together, just like the whole body. And all of your thinking is done by electricity and chemicals. So pretty amazing. All right, the first section of this we're going to start with is called the limbic system. And Eileen has a PowerPoint here that she can pass around. This is a system that lies near the center of the brain. It houses the hypothalamus, which is a major integrating link within the nervous system. This is considered the oldest part of the brain that enabled animals to experience emotions. So it's often referred to as the reptilian brain. This is an emotional storage bin where highly charged emotional memories are stored. This part of the brain enables you to connect and form bonds, and it also directly processes the sense of smell. This part of the brain adds the emotional spice to life in both negative and positive ways. It adds an emotional tone to our experiences. So when your limbic system is less active or cool, there's generally a more positive, hopeful state of mind. When it's inflamed or overactive, negativity can take over. And some good examples of movies to help you remember that would be Pollyanna in the Glad Game versus Grumpy Old Men in the pessimistic side. Like I said before, this brain has a large capacity for emotional storage. Whether you win the lottery or experience a trauma, it doesn't matter. It doesn't discriminate. It stores all. This area is big in connectedness because we are social animals. In fact, the physical and emotional connection is critical in the parent-infant bonding process. The caressing, kissing, and sweet words and eye contact give the baby a sense of pleasure, love, trust, and security needed to develop that healthy circuitry. Now, on average, women have a larger limbic system than men, resulting in the reason that we're the primary caregivers. An area where this didn't work with the connectedness would be the movie Mommy Dearest and Joan Crawford. All right. This area of the brain also directly processes the sense of smell. The scent enters through the nose. It travels to the olfactory nerves and connects to this part of the brain. Now, messages from all other senses have to go to a relay station before they get to their final destination. So this is an area where you see aromatherapy can really work. And essential oils have often been referred to as the anti-inflammatories of the brain. Okay, so with an unbalanced limbic system, you will see when it's overloaded and working too hard, the emotional filter is often colored by negativity, and pessimism can run rampant. They'll see the glass as half empty instead of half full. They're moody, irritable, they have appetite and sleeping problems. And they also develop an I don't care attitude, and they'll feel hopeless about their life situation. Now, with the low levels of energy, it leads an open door to depression because the limbic system is being overloaded. So they'll want to be alone, they'll have a decreased sex drive, and they'll feel like nobody understands.
A good example of that was the incident that we had earlier in this week was the gentleman that killed the 74-year-old man on Facebook as to his limbic system being actually hot, what we call hot, and overactive.
And at a disease level, I was just reading, there was a gentleman a while back, he killed his wife. He woke up, killed his wife in the morning, and then went to a school and shot a bunch of people. They got a hold of, that he killed himself also. Then they found out he had rabies, and rabies hits the limbic system. Yeah. So, also this area of the brain, when it's affected, they can be depressive to be around, so socializing is hard. All right, the next section is the basal ganglia. Now, this is structures that I think hug the limbic system. They allow you to jump when you're excited, tremble when nervous, freeze when scared, or get tongue-tied when someone is confronting you. Unfortunately, when the basal ganglia receives too much input, it can lock up. And being that it plays a role in movement, this will cause a freezing effect. For instance, when there is an accident, you may find many people gathered around watching and not doing anything. This is attributed to the emotional intensity of the accident that the brain is absorbing. The basal ganglia becomes fixated on the intensity, making muscle movement a low priority. Now, in the duality of that, the people with the underactive basal ganglia, as in the condition of ADD, they become motivated in stressful situations. So oftentimes, the first people to arrive at the scene of an accident are those with the similar characteristics of ADD, because their basal ganglia becomes excited and loves the emotional intensity taking place. Thank goodness we have those first responders. Okay, I was going to have everybody write their name at the top of their paper, but we don't have paper. But another function of the basal ganglia is helping with handwriting, this shifting and smoothing of fine motor behaviors. Many children with ADD have hard to read handwriting because the act of it's difficult and stressful for them. The handwriting is choppy and or sloppy, and many ADD individuals print instead of using cursive, because printing is not a smooth, continuous motor movement, but rather a start-stop motor activity that keeps them engaged and focused.
Okay, I have a question on that.
Okay.
I mean, kids today, they don't write anything.
Right.
Everything's typed either on a phone, on an iPad, on a computer. So, you know, how are they getting those motor skills, because no one's teaching them?
Right.
I don't even know if they do cursive anymore.
Eileen, do you know what Dr. Daniel Amen says about that?
It's not a good thing. So it's really causing that to be locked up and be locked up. So yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
But the brain does have a way of compensating. But it is important to not skip your steps. So it is important to get their coloring in or handwriting somehow to get that neurocircuitry activated. Other examples where the basal ganglia is involved in motor control are in the diseases of Parkinson's and Tourette's. So the basal ganglia also helps us regulate our anxiety level. It sets the body's anxiety level. Usually people who are on the go, they're multitasking or having something to do. They have a high activity in their basal ganglia area, and they're known as our overachievers. Now, in brain imaging work from Dr. Daniel Amen, the basal ganglia that have become too overactive and had a strong association with anxiety, tension, increased awareness, and heightened fear. Underactive basal ganglia cause problems also with motivation and energy. So these people are often labeled your underachievers. Pleasure control and the process of feeling good. This is an area the basal ganglia responds to love as it does cocaine. They did the brain SPECT scans, where both cocaine and love are the powerful enhancers of dopamine, and they produce the feelings of bliss, pleasure, and euphoria. So when the love brains were scanned, the basal ganglia areas were found to closely resemble that of the cocaine users. So with an unbalanced basal ganglia, you will see conflict avoidance due to that freezing effect with an overwhelmed basal ganglia. And excessive activity, you can see increased anxiety levels, nervousness, or panic attacks. And then, of course, the fine motor problems with the handwriting and the diseases of Parkinson's and Tourette's. All right. The prefrontal cortex, the cingulate is where we're going next. Got that out of the script here. So the cingulate runs through the central deep aspects of the frontal lobes. It helps you feel settled, relaxed, safe, and secure. This is a part of the body that's known as the gear shifter. It greases our behavior and allows us to be flexible. So it also allows you to brainstorm with the ability to shift attention from thing to thing, moving from idea to idea, and seeing options. Now, when imbalanced, obviously creativity can be difficult. Also, the flexibility function of this part of the brain can contribute to social capabilities. Being able to start a new job, move to a new location, and enjoy the many diverse relationships that life has to offer is directly connected to this area of the brain. An interesting finding is that the cingulate has found to serve as an early warning system. The cingulate works on a subconscious level to help us recognize and avoid high-risk situations. So that was kind of interesting. So with an unbalanced cingulate, you will have rigidity and inflexibility. You'll hear the peoples that are basically do it my way or hit the highway attitude. They say no to new opportunity. They'll only eat specific foods, all because this gear shifter has lost its greasing ability, and they can become stuck in their thoughts and behaviors. Other behaviors that this affects is road rage, obsessive compulsive disorder, worrying, eating disorders, hypochondria, and oppositional defiant disorder. Now, in the addictive behaviors such as gambling, drinking, and doing drugs, they all have roots in this unbalanced cingulate area. Due to the stuck nature, it's like a one-track mind. Now, another result of the stuck addictive cingulate is chronic pain and woundology. This is where you have a friend that has a paper cut, and then soon it turns into a gaping wound that you have to hear about, whether you want to or not. So rest assured, you know that that's their cingulate area. Some good, and this area too, holding grudges. Also politics, liberalism versus conservative. Have you ever witnessed any of that? And Debbie Downer from SNL is a good one on the woundology. Okay. All right, the prefrontal cortex. Now this is considered the most evolved part of the brain. It watches, supervises, guides, directs, and focuses your behavior. It's also been termed as the supervisor. It allows implementation of time management, judgment, impulse control, planning, organization, and thinking. So when your prefrontal cortex works as it should, we are thoughtful, empathetic, expressive, organized, and goal-oriented. The prefrontal cortex also helps you learn from your mistakes. You will not make the same mistake over and over because the healthy function of this section of the brain will allow you to learn from your past so you can apply it to your future. So this area of the brain also allows you to maintain attention. It keeps you engaged by filtering out less significant stimuli, allowing you to focus and maintain your attention. Now, how this doesn't work is the character of Homer Simpson. Anytime, you're all familiar with Homer Simpson? Anytime somebody talks to him in depth, you get those thought clouds that goes to beer and donuts. This is how that's not working, all right? How well it could work is Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory or Ben Stein. That's really working on the opposite end there. Okay, so in the condition of ADD, this is where the prefrontal cortex struggles because it cannot seem to get enough stimulation, therefore allowing an increased amount of stimuli to enter and fill the void with excitement. In such instances, when you need to focus, it's the prefrontal cortex job to send quieting signals to the sensory parts of your brain, kind of like you're in a library and the librarian's telling you to shh because you're being too loud. Now, when the prefrontal cortex activity falls too low, you become unengaged. Your mind starts to wander, like some of you may be doing now, and you become more easily distractible. Many times on an unconscious level, people with this imbalance will seek conflict as a means to stimulate their prefrontal cortex because the intensity of the emotion, such as yelling, it excites them. And this can turn into some addiction, of behavior addiction, because they'll seek it out. They want to fight.
People who are addicted need that stimuli because their prefrontal cortex has been damaged.
Right. All right, so with an unbalanced prefrontal cortex, you will see disorganization. You'll see people with piles of stuff around them and their work areas are very cluttered. They have that filing system that they only know about. They'll lose track of time and they'll show up late to social activities. Also, this overabundance of noise can interfere with your ability to focus and maintain attention. They may start many projects and not finish them. And also, they may seem starchy or stiff and avoid socializing because it's uncomfortable, because they're so wired to their prefrontal cortex that it's uncomfortable and they will try to avoid it. So, okay, lastly is the temporal lobes. These are on each side of your brain. They play an integral role in memory, emotional stability, learning, and socializing. Respectively, the left lobe is considered the dominant lobe, and the right lobe is the non-dominant lobe, and this is just due to general human usage. Nothing's written in stone. These are their filing cabinets that store memories and images of our life experience. Let's see, the temporal lobes help to process sound and written words into meaningful information. Let's see here. So we all know that the memories are stored here, and we all know that memories can make us strong and self-confident, or they can bring us to our knees. Every action and pattern of action that you undertake has been influenced by your memories. Emotional stability is in this area also. Balanced activity in the temporal lobes enhances mood stability, while increased or decreased activity leads to fluctuating, inconsistent, or unpredictable moods and behaviors. The temporal lobes have been found to assist you in appreciating all aspects of music. Enjoying the rhythm, pitch, and beat of a melody has roots in this part of the brain. The temporal lobes also allow you to visually learn so that you can dance in unison and get your groove onto your favorite piece of music. Okay, so unbalanced temporal lobes, you will have, this is an area where you can have abnormal sensory perceptions, such as hallucinations, hearing voices, and deja vu. These are your visual and auditory impairments. Word finding problems, which can lead to reading difficulties. Emotional instability, impaired memory. This can go into the area of amnesia and Alzheimer's. And then obviously the temporal lobe seizures. All right, that's my part of the brain seminar. I think I'll let Eileen take the rest.
So we're going to talk a little bit about now the portion that I talk about is how we can overcome all these things. Dr. Amen found out through the SPECT scan that we can have a beautiful brain. It's sort of, if you kind of look here, this is the way our brain should look. And it can look like that. These are some of the effects of what the brain looks like on certain diseases. And what you see here is not holes actually, but a lack of circulation in the brain. So any of those things that we're talking about, about changing your brain, changing your life, you can actually do supplements, you can actually do activities, you can actually change your thoughts, which is the work that I do. It's called neurointegration. And by literally going into the nervous system and rewiring or repatterning your thought process, your brain can start to look beautiful again. I want to preference that by saying that we live in a world of toxicity. So we have to be very mindful of what we put and eat. Number one, eat, how we take care of our brain, because you can be 90 years old. You've heard of these people that are 90, 100 years old and they don't look a day over 45. They have a lot of that in Denmark, a lot of the Scandinavian countries where they don't worry about stuff. And they eat healthy diets, good diet, clean diets. They take care of themselves. They don't do a lot of drugs. One of Dr. Amen's philosophies is that he was a psychiatrist and felt that a lot of the drugs that were used to treat some of the ailments were making the brain look terrible. So his ability to want to change that by looking actually at the SPECT scan and seeing what areas could be calmed down and cooled off by simply supplements. Supplementation, good eating, good living, changing your thoughts. And again, that's what neurointegration does. It literally goes into the nervous system and changes the thought process, gives you tools to pull out of your toolbox to be able to tap into. So I guess I'll talk about what neurointegration looks like for me and for you. A client comes into my office, they'll lie down on a massage table, and I literally open your nervous system by pressing 3 points on your body. I have access to your brain at that point, and then we allow hand patterning and some other movements to be able to talk to your brain. First comes a cognitive therapy, which means talk therapy, to find out what an issue may be, and we can actually go in and change that thought. And that's really all there is to it. It's really very simple. The reason we wanted to come here today was to be able to share with you some of Dr. Amen's philosophies along with our philosophy. I am a brain health coach with the Amen Clinic to be able to help you move into any changes that you need. And this is not just for anybody with a problem, but teenagers are facing issues, bullying on FaceTime. Anytime there's a negative thought, then this work and what we do with the Amen Clinic can change that. He has 6 clinics around the country if you want a SPECT scan. There's 6 clinics around the country that you could go to and actually have a SPECT scan done and have your brain looked at. And then just contact me. I'm Eileen Darden. My number is 937-681-0184.
Eileen, are you in Dayton?
Oh, I'm in 2 locations. I'm in Cincinnati and Blue Ash, and then I have an office in Dayton, in Centerville. Yes.
And where are his SPECT scan offices?
His offices are, there's one in Orange County, there's one in San Francisco, one in Bellevue, Washington, which is Seattle area, one in Reston, Virginia, which would be closest for here.
Washington, D.C.
Yeah, and New York, and Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah. And those clinics are beautiful. What you do when you go into those clinics is you'll go in for 3 days, and you literally, they do an evaluation on you, fill out paperwork, you actually go in the SPECT scan, you have games that you play, so there's all kinds of good stuff that you do there. And the SPECT scan itself, when it comes out, it's really, it's actually a picture of what your brain looks like. It's going to run you right around $3,000, and that's going to be everything that you need. Again, and that's also with their psychiatrist that they'll have assigned to you to be able to go over your SPECT
How many
scan.
hours a day are you there?
Anywhere from 6 to 7 hours. It depends. They break it up. Yeah. And everybody, what I really liked about it when I went there, everybody, you have to, in order, and I did too, everyone has to have a SPECT scan done. But everybody's happy and cheerful and just in good, it's really an amazing journey. I have. I'll have to let you see mine. Yeah. You have to have one done if you're going to be a coach.
And so you have to pay the $3,000?
No.
She gets a discount, employee discount, friends and family.
Yeah. Any other questions?
After having this wonderful seminar, you've made me feel so relaxed. I know that I'm going to go home and go to sleep right away. But no, it really helped me. This whole program did. I can't thank you both enough. Or actually the 3 of you, Christine at Sandy's Health and Wellness, and
Eileen
Darden, and
Therese
Altemeier. And I wish all of you the best in the future, and we know we're going to be following you a lot, and we want you to go up to our website and see all these wonderful people and the books that they're recommending and the programs they're recommending. So we want to thank you again.
Thank you, Kathryn.
And we'll see you next time on Let's Just Talk.